Well, hello again. This is Angela Sabatino, and the title of this video is Givers and Takers. First, a disclaimer. As I stated in previous videos, I have no professional training or accreditation in psychology, psychotherapy, whatever, counseling. I have no education in that area. So I don't want anybody to think I'm anything but Angela Sabatino. Okay, so let's begin. I'd like to begin with takers, because that always sort of invites a negative perception. And I say that because there will always be givers and takers in the world. That's it. That's the normal flow of the universe. Really, everything in the universe is giving and taking. The problem with taking lies with the giver. If the giving and the taking is promoting resentment or anger or exploitation, manipulation, well, obviously that's not good. But at some point in our lives, we should all be grateful takers. Okay, grateful takers. That's what makes a taker so valued in the flow of the universe. If they are grateful takers, then you usually will get a very giving person on the other end. If you take to promote anything outside of the meaning of your life, such as money, taking someone's emotional security away, taking someone's, obviously life, but just taking possession of someone, then you're going in a negative route as a taker, okay? Because you're not really grateful. You're sort of self-absorbed, but let's not get that deep into it. But takers are very important in life. We should all, as I said before, be takers at one time and be very grateful takers. And I guess this directive is given to the givers, who I will be talking about, because they have such a hard time taking, which upsets the normal flow of the universe as well. All right. So if you are in a position where you are a taker, now I'm not talking about lending money. That's another video that I did. But, sometimes you have takers that say, oh, you know what, could you lend me $50 and I'll pay you back? And they never do. And then they borrow another $20 or whatever. And they're not going to pay you back. But it's important, if you're in that position where, you come for advice all the time, but you're never there for advice, to give advice. That's a taker in a very negative vein, all right? Takers should be givers in another way. For instance, if you borrow $20, $50, and you don't pay it back, in some other way, you should be giving. I have friends in the past, they would say, can you lend me $25? Can you lend me $50? And I'd give it. I knew that I was never getting paid back. Never. But in other ways, they gave me back in probably better value than what I gave them. $50, what they gave me sometimes was very priceless. They came into my life at very special times and either cooked for me or cleaned my house or drove me somewhere or, when I was going out of my mind, sitting there and listening to my baloney. So if they take these things, like a little bit of money, or they come into the house and they say, "Can I borrow this? Can I borrow those pair of shoes?" And they never give it back. That's up to you. That goes to the giver's side, which we'll get to. You have to be a taker in that way with the money, but remember that likewise you can give in many other ways. So if you give in many other ways, then the relationship of giving and taking is very harmonious. On the giver side, well, first of all, givers have to learn how to be takers. So I'm the one that lent the $50, but all of a sudden I get sick or something. There's a knock on my door, and someone comes in with like 2 pots of chicken soup. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. She did so much for me. Or, I had to get somewhere right away one time, and the phone rang, and I said, "Oh, I gotta get there. I gotta take car service." Blah 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 blah. And she said to me, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'll drive you there." So, you know, I could have said, "No, no, no. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." That would be bad. But when she said she would drive me, and I said, "Please, thank you." That's good giving and good receiving. It's very important for givers to be good receivers. That has to be the best because actually it decreases resentment. It decreases feeling taken, and it also makes you a good and happy giver. If you're going to be in a position of being the giver, then you have to be a happy giver. That's hard. If you're giving and you're resenting every time that you have to give, then you have to stop giving. You just have to stop. Form a plan, wean away. There are some people who will never learn through your giving. And that's when you have to stop. Because then that person needs to be taken from someone else. They need to have an experience with someone else. You need to end that. If you're not happy giving, then don't give. It will make the person that's receiving it not appreciative, and it will make you very resentful. What givers have to learn is giving with discrimination. That's a very big thing. You have to learn how to give, but give to people who will actually do something or be something or act certain way as a result of your giving. Okay? Parents invest. They get a second mortgage to pay their children's tuition. But the outcome is that their child will get a good education and a good life. So there's a positive outcome to your giving. That's very important. If you give to a certain person or a certain group, whatever, and you don't see anything coming from it. In other words, if you lend money or if you help out somebody with, getting a job and you see that, they're coming in late on the job and they lost their job, then that's a red flag that they really can't, at this point in their life, improve themselves. Not to say that they can't, but at this point in their life, they can't improve themselves. So you need to step away. Step away. Resign as manager of the universe. Okay? The job doesn't pay much. Trust me. If you're going to give happily. Like I said, when I gave the $20, the $50, it was like, I'm not thinking about it. And I know that person, at some point in the future, if I need help, will be there in one way or one aspect or another. But that person will be there for me. So giving and taking has to be reciprocal in a very harmonious way in order for it to be a meaningful experience. Because it is a meaningful experience. It's part of the universe. It's part of everything that's within us. Everything is giving and taking. So just bear in mind that if you're going to be a taker, you should also be discriminating as well. Maybe. But if you're going to be a giver, you should be definitely discriminating. It should promote a happy outcome. And this is not an easy thing to do, especially when it involves family or close friends. And we all have that. We all have one in the family. And how to deal with that in a very positive outcome. If you have someone who's taking from you and you're starting to really resent it and it's getting to be a sleepless night, then rather than give again, start planning on a weaning away process. Either wean away, stop all entirely. If you could do it in a diplomatic way, that'd be the best. Sometimes it can't be diplomatic. When you're dealing with a person who is self-absorbed, it's almost impossible to get through to them. So sometimes I wean away, and but I would just have to say that you really have to form a plan. Rather than giving again, you have to form a plan of weaning away. And this is for your health and the health of the taker. Because this may be an eye-opener for them to change their ways or change the way they think. On the other hand, like I said, a taker may go to someone else. But the experience of giving and taking is not to be thought of in a negative way if it's done correctly. So just keep that in mind when you're interacting with the human race. And I bid you goodbye and have a good day. Bye-bye.